What up? It's your boy Sean here, and welcome to a new review of a new series and a new season I started this morning. I'm on episode 10, and I asked that you wait. Well, actually, I'm going to record different days by the amount of different t-shirts. It'll be one day, maybe 2 more days, I don't know. But today we're going to review the anime called Rurouni Kenshin. Now, I know it was an anime back in the 90s, but I have not seen that. I ask that you please forgive me on that if I go over something that's like, oh, that was in the original manga, that was in the original anime. Please forgive me on that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we start off in the Meiji era of feudal Japan, and swords have been outright banned. And one day, we see a swordsman who goes by Hitoshi Batosai. I'll just say Batosai for Himura Batosai, I think. Well, we'll just say Batosai for the sake of right now until I watch it more. We see him wandering into a town one day. I think it's like Tokyo or something. And there's a woman named Miss Kamiya, I think. Karu Kamiya. With an elderly man. I'll get into him in a minute. So they find him in this town, and they meet in the middle of the night during one of the sword attacks. Excuse me. So he meets up with Karu Kamiya, and as a thanks for saving her dojo, the dojo later finds out that the elderly man was the big brother of this group who wanted to buy Miss Karu Kamiya's land, the dojo basically. And they were almost there. Then Rurouni Kenshin comes in, or Kenshin Himura. Rurouni is like a samurai who doesn't kill or something. And he saves her from them, obviously. And then she allows him to live, at least for a while, at the dojo. While there, they run into a kid. I'm not a kid! I'm having fun with this. Who was originally a pickpocketer for this Yakuza style. I almost say Yokuruza, but that was the name of the Yokuruza family from Mission Yozakura family. Which, side note, if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. I did a review of that season too. Anyway, so they find him, and he's like, I'm not going to kill you all, I just want the boy. Then they take him back to the dojo. And Karu and him, I honestly forgot his name right now. Again, I just started today. I'll know more better names soon. And with this, he becomes her apprentice after all the other ones left in that scramble I mentioned earlier from those slug guys. I'm trying to remember where we are right now. Please forgive me. Okay, so next episode, for the next episodes, they get along and do little things. And Rurouni finds a guy named Sagane. I'm going to say Sagane for this. He finds out that the two mob guys from the beginning of the series were basically like, okay, you can have your real challenger with him. They met at a hot pot restaurant. I don't know what a hot pot is. If someone could let me know in the comments what that is. I honestly don't know. They go to that shop, and then he's like, okay, I like to challenge you. He's like, I respectfully decline. And then they meet up later, at the end of the episode. And Next episode, they're fighting. It's got Zanbuta, which I didn't know this was an actual blade they use. Yeah, the Zanbata. This I didn't know that was a real sword. I honestly thought it was science fiction and fantasy because anime and all that. I should also mention that Kenshin Himura's sword is like a backhanded sword where the blade edge don't point up. I forget what it's called. I am sorry. Like I said, I just started this morning. Please forgive me. And then they find out that this guide, his name's like Inoue, Jime, or something like that. He's going around terrorizing the people. Then he makes the mistake of kidnapping Karu Kamiyat. He captures her to get Rurouni to get Kenshin to come back to his old way because Kenshin was a member of the Imperialists, which I guess were like it was like a group in feudal Japan, I think. Like I said, I'll know more when I watch the series. Anyway, so he kidnaps her and he tries not to kill because he's a Rurouni and they don't kill apparently. But he had to make an exception this once. He stabs him, but didn't actually kill him because Miss Karu Kamiya, who knows how to also break free from his spell, which like gets your lungs and all that. It makes you feel heavy, like after a long day of exercising. Yeah, so that happens. Now I'm on episode 10, and I don't know what's going to happen next, but in this next part, I'll record New Day and all that. I will definitely be letting y'all know. But before I do, I want to mention one thing, though. I saw little bits of the original anime and this remake. I like the remake better. Because it's more lively. Don't get me wrong, 90s anime is cool and all. Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho. But in terms of the art style, I just kind of preferred the later one, the new one, to that. Because it looks a bit cleaner. Excuse me. Part 2 coming up? Well, now. Alright, y'all. New day, new tea. Let's get back into this. Now, one thing I might have forgotten to gloss over in the first recording session I did is there was a lady named Megumi Takani who was an assistant to a guy named Kanryu, who's one of the most crazy man I've ever seen in any media. So she made a thing called opium, which apparently I know it's an anime, but it might also be accurate. Was lethal. She was in charge of distributing that. And Kenshin Yaito Karu, it's Saume. I watched more of it this morning. Well, actually, it was just Kenshin, Yaito, and Sahune. They waged an all-out attack on the mansion where Megumi Takani was kidnapped. Well, thankfully, went to go get her, but took down all of his men. Then he faced like these four, actually it's more like two. Usually there was three, but these two guys, Hanyamiot, and I forgot the guy's name. He's got like the long hair, the muscular stuff. And Kenshin fights off against Aoshi, and they technically did defeat him, but he escaped. All because Connery had to bring out a Gatling gun. Yeah, from the Civil War. Mind you, this anime takes place in 1878. So, that may be another reason why. So they take him down and he gets punched in the face. Looks like he was playing a little too much Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Or Smash Bros. Character's face. Excuse me. So after they rescue her, she goes to become an assistant doctor because her family was doctors. Excuse me. She finds a cure for. She's trying to find a cure for opium overdose, which I like. Then after that, next episode we find out that Yaito is working at a hot pot restaurant, the same hot pot restaurant I mentioned in the first part, the same one. And he's doing it to get a sabakoto, which is a sword Kenshin has. I like that. And he stops a group of, sounds like a crime lord, when his co-worker Sabomi, I'll have to watch more appearances to get the name right. Yeah. Had to bring keys to the restaurant, had to bring keys to the leader, copy keys, because they were going to rob that night. So he did end up defeating the crime lord, but his other minions were kind of scared by Kenshin and Sahome. Sagane. I think I call him that, yeah. So they were scared of them and they're like, I'm out of here. And then, like I said, he takes down the leader. And that ends the episode. Next episode, Kara's going to go visit her. Going to visit a dojo with Mr. Maekawa. Then Ryujutsu comes and is like, I'm going to challenge you to a fight. He challenges the dojo to the master dojo to fight, and then Kenshin gets into the fight as well. It's like, we're done, and then they leave. Next episode, or I think it's from the same episode. Yutero's this kid who thought that his master was his apprentice. So he goes to learn the Kamiya Ryu sword style of life. Then he leaves to go to an area with like Buddha or something, like a place where Buddha is. Then they were doing this, and then Ryujutsu comes back in. Decides to get his rematch with Kenshin because Kenshin doesn't want to follow his ideals to bring his sword style to be the solo swordsman style. But in the process of the fight, Yutaro gets hurt in the right arm, like around here, like around here somewhere. So they get into a
they get him to a doctor, and it's the same one where Megumi's like the assistant. They tell him that his right arm has been, that the tendons have been severed, so he can't go back to sword fighting again.
Then Kenshin decides to take a rematch and actually does defeat him with one of the coolest looking. Like, he takes the sword and puts it right here. He's not dead, mind you, because Kenshin has a blade style that doesn't kill, doesn't murder. So they go back to the mansion where Yutaro was residing and all that. His father tells them that they're going to go to Germany to get rehabilitation and all that. An actual real life act. Sorry, I've been coughing a lot today. And they see him off on the train. That ends that episode. With a newfound respect, and Yaito and Yutaro still going at it because they're the youngest ones, and they have like a rivalry going on between them. And then Karu tells Yutaro, who has been practicing at her dojo, that he's always welcome to be second seat anytime. And that was one of the coolest moments I ever saw in in this show yet. Part 3 will be up, or I'll record part 3 in maybe a day or two. Who knows? Okay, we are at the third and final part, and I got a lot of thoughts. First, plot synopsis. So, Sakuni Sanasami found out that his old friend when he was with the Seikiro army was alive. And then he wanted to try to kill the government. Excuse me. But Genshin Himura stopped him from doing that. And disposed of all the bombs. Yeah, there were bombs. Then there was a fight with a man named... Hold on. So there was a guy named Shishio, who was Kenshin Himura's successor as Himura Batosai. And that's when he tells a story that happened 5 days before he arrived at the Kamiya Dojo, of how there was like a doctor who was trying to kill other people and take the doctor who studied Western medicine, American, and take that down as like 2 parts. So that's what happened there. And then you think about his experience with the Shinsengumi, which leads to, what was his name? I just watched it. Saito. Yeah, Saito is the one who... Saito's the one to do it, but his real name is like... Shigami Sate Hajime. And then Mr. Okibo, who tells him that Makoto Shishio, the one who I just mentioned, was the one who was behind it. And then before he asked Kenshin to go to Tokyo, but then before he could, he gets murdered, Mr. Okubo. And then he leaves for Tokyo. and one of the saddest scenes I just saw. At least invite the girl to go to Tokyo with you. Now, granted, that could happen in the second season, but it's not dubbed on. It's not dubbed yet in English. I could watch the original, but that would be like spoiling myself, kind of. So we're gonna avoid that. I'll watch the first season of it though. Just watch, because I heard there's a couple episodes I hadn't seen yet. So, my final thoughts? I would definitely watch this show again. You combine swords with a historical period. I love Fortune Fire, and a little side tangent. On the show, they show like weapons from historical periods. I've always liked the katana, not just because it was the first episode. I just always liked that one. I think Rurouni Kenshin might have been mentioned in that episode, but I'll look at that later. So, who are my favorite characters? You guys may be wondering. Besides Rurouni Kenshin, I also like Karu Kamiya. She's like his voice of reason. Now, I haven't read the manga or seen the original anime, so, like I said in the beginning, please forgive me, but I have a hunch they might end up together. Seeing how much she cares about him. I also like Gaito. He's the funny kid. And Sano. I like him too. I might have messed up his name a couple times, so please forgive me. He looks like Ryu from Street Fighter. I think I might be watching the original 96 anime, at least for a season, tonight or tomorrow. That's my review of the first season of Rurouni Kenshin. I will be back whenever the second season gets dubbed in English. I will be making another video, because this series, oh my golly, it's like my dream anime. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, because I'm definitely doing another one of these videos, and I'll see you later. Bye!